Is the settlement agreement in this stack?
Excuse me?
Is the settlement agreement in this?
No, I didn't put it out.
Okay, that's okay. I'll pull it up on my phone.
You sure?
Yeah.
Little respect is I don't sometimes you build, sometimes you learn.
We made that. Oh, yeah. Jump started.
Yeah.
They go over like.
Yeah. All of it. And I just kept on.
You ready?
There's Miss Vanessa.
I was waiting for the train, so I didn't pull out the train. Called the radio. They got train. By the time I got there, the tires had been pulled out and they to the ground, put it out. So we're all like talked out back, Jack, or saying I just got material. Fix the door.
Oh, we're not starting out. Oh, that's.
No, they're not.
Well, that's what they are. Or my internet, or,
Okay, folks, we're gonna get started. It is December 8th, 2025. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me? Okay. Just a reminder to the council, please pull your microphones forward so people can hear you when you talk. I'm getting older and I'm getting hard of hearing myself, so anyway. All right, so the first thing I wanted to, a couple of comments I wanted to make right up front, and I'm going to read this. This is from the Louisiana Rural Water Association, and it's a W.J. Fournette scholarship application. Louisiana Rural Water Association will award 2 scholarships in the amount of $2,000 each to either graduating high school seniors or enrolled college students. We encourage you to forward this email to your local high school, which has been done. Post it on your bulletin board and mention it in your monthly board meetings, which is what we're doing. Applicants must reside in a water or wastewater system that is a member of LRWA. be a citizen or legal resident of the United States and be a resident of Louisiana. Previous scholarship applicants and winners are also eligible to apply. Okay. Applications need to be postmarked by March 6th. So if you know somebody in high school or in college, this may be something for them. All right. The next thing we have, I just want to kind of give you a brief update on what's going on throughout town. We are still waiting for our permitting on Thompson to replace the water leak that we have there. So Feather Fuel, of course, is off on 165. They will begin putting in the sewer and water lines starting in January. We're currently working on Southland Estates, and we also have on the schedule Lambert for the outfall on 3rd Street. So that's going to be coming up. It's something that we have that's becoming an issue. We've been fortunate not to have a flood and continue to deteriorate that area right there. So we're going to try to get that sorted out. And then we have another issue on Eli. So that'll kind of fall in behind that. So those are just a few of the things I wanted to bring up ahead of this. And at this point, we have a call to order. And we're going to establish a quorum. Ms. Julie Fontenot.
Here.
Mr. Joe Becknell.
Here.
Ms. Vanessa Guillory.
Here.
Mr. Daniel Hennigan.
Here.
And Mr. Gerald Gidry.
Here.
And we do have a quorum. At this time, we're going to stand, and Mr. Joe's going to lead us in prayer and our pledge.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of our community. In Jesus' name we pray. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I want to thank each of you for coming out this evening. At this time, we have before us to adopt the agenda. And Mr. Joe, you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add the resolution number 2025-19. It's opposing carbon capture and sequestration in the town of Byway, Louisiana.
We have a motion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And that is okay. So we're going to add that to our agenda. And at this point, we want to go ahead and adopt the agenda. We have a motion.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that carries. All right, we have before us an approval of minutes as submitted for regular meeting November 10th, 2025.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that carries. All right, Miss Cindy, report of finance. Before you start that, I want to let you know we have quite a bit on the list. I'm going to ask the council to keep up with me because we're going to change that order around because we have quite a few folks here are here for the proclamation, and we're going to try to squeeze that in sooner than where we have it listed. So if we go ahead and do the report of finance, Ms. Cindy.
Okay. We are looking at the financial report of November 30th, which is the 5th month of our fiscal year. We are at a 42% of the financial. On general fund, our net revenue over expenditures for the month of November came to $39,090.17. The year-to-date actual for our general fund is a deficit of $607,311. I looked back on last year at this time, and the difference on it for, we're not that far from where we were last year. We're a little less on our revenues, about 2% less on our revenues as we were at this time last year. And our expenditures were a little bit higher, which is about normal. So I'm not too concerned about it.
Part of that was insurance for fire department too. wasn't it?
Yes. Our, if you go to page 12 is our water improvement fund. We have a deficit for the month of November of $5,004.33, just for the month of November. That has a lot to do with our sewer line capital outlay that was finished up right here in back of City Hall. Our year-to-date on that fund is a net revenue over the expenditures of $1.9 million due to the FEMA revenue that we received. Reimbursement. Fund 14 is our Parks and Streets Fund. On page 16. For the month of November, we have a net revenue over expenditures of $2,674. And year to date is a net revenue of $32,614. Our street fund, Fund 15, on page 20, for the month of November has a deficit of $12,715. We've done a lot of street repairs that has caused some of this to be more expenses for this month, because the year-to-date actual is a net revenue over expenditures of $66,883. So it's just the month of November that we kind of took a hit on. Sales tax 3 on page 23. Our month of November, we have a net revenue of $31,852. Which gives us a year-to-date net revenue over expenditures of $90,393. If you go to our LCDBG fund, Fund 18, on page 29, we have a zero net revenue over expenditures. You will see some activity in that fund. We did have a request for payment, $103,000. That I would say is about 80% of the project cost. We did submit that request to our state community development grant, and we're waiting any day for the payment so that we can make that payment to our contractor.
Miss Cindy, if I could,
Mhm.
just to let y'all know, I know the council's been keeping up on this. We have, if my understanding is correct, and the money does not come in until the 17th or 18th of this month, it's gonna be about 30 days that this gentleman's had to wait for his money. We do have some serious backlogs with paperwork out of Baton Rouge. It's unfortunate. So if you see that there's a couple places that hasn't been tidied up and finished, he's not able to move forward. He's been doing quite a bit of this throughout the state. He's having a big backlog with a couple other things that he's worked on under the same program. So just rest assured that as soon as he can get paid, he's going to finish up those two little things I think that we have on the books.
To complete the financial report on page 39, the last page of the report is for our city waterworks. For the month of November, we ended with a net revenue over expenditures of $46,205, and our year-to-date actual is $104,801. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. All right. We're going to go to Chief Vincent, and then once we get past that, we're going to go to our resolution number 2025-19, and then we'll do the proclamation for Russell Hart. Okay. Chief?
Go Jackets. First time in history. It's gonna be nice to go to the Dome this week. I just had some recommendations. One, promote Patrolman Asia Johnson to corporal.
I move to promote Patrolman Asia Johnson to corporal.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
And the second, the promotion Kevin Lauer to corporal. He just graduated the academy.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this joint service agreement, there was apparently a typo or something on the original that we've been using and the date was wrong. I met with Cindy this morning. Me and Bill Summers brought her the proper documentation of both SROs. We're going to get a grant. They're going to vote on it tomorrow after they get y'all's approval to supplement the town on the grant funding, same as Erica. I think it's 83% or something, their salary and benefits. So I've been talking with Principal Deeks. He's been wanting this for over a year, and we've been able to make it happen. So I'm coming to add that to the agenda for both of them, to correct the error on the other one and to add an additional SRO to our police staff, and they will supplement most of the income
So 83% of their salary
and benefits.
is going to be covered by
The police by the school board.
school board.
Yes.
So the town will have to cover the 70%.
Yes, and that's mainly during the summer. The town, that officer usually works, helps with patrol or other things when they're on hiatus from school, like the summer or during the holidays and that type of stuff. But the rest of the time, they pay for all
Are we just discussing this tonight?
that. No, I'm making a recommendation that y'all vote on it. They gotta vote on this tomorrow.
Have you had a chance to review this document?
This one in particular, this is the first
Yeah.
time seeing it.
What's the, because I know we had the one for J.I. Watson.
It's
To
the
renew.
same thing.
So we were renewing J.I. Watson because of the issue, and then this one's totally new,
This
or
one
the middle
was,
school's new, right?
this was sent Monday prior to the meeting to be placed on the agenda. I was advised that by the clerk that the document for the other, for J.I. Watson, was inaccurate. Therefore, it was all placed together on one document from the school board to implement the new SRO and correct the error for Eric Johnson and J.I. Watson.
Is there a way we can approve it with, in your approval of the document?
Well, the document's right there.
What error was it?
Probably not.
What was the
year.
error? Oh, no, we
Okay.
just, it was a renewal. We just never had renewed it.
It's the same agreement that we are currently using for J.I. Watson. We're just adding an additional SRO.
Additional school, a different location.
We're adding two. We're adding one at the junior high and we'll have one at J.I. Watson so we can take care of the kids over here.
Okay, so we had one at the high school, but that's what the sheriff.
We have one at J.I. Watson.
Okay,
The sheriff's office has one at the high school.
okay.
There is no, they do not have an SRO at the junior high.
So we're only adding one.
We're gonna add an school resource officer. The school is gonna pay most of their salary and benefits, and we're gonna add them to J.I. Watson. So we'll have an SRO at J.I. Watson, an SRO at the high school for the sheriff's office, and we have Eric Johnson, who is our SRO at J.I. Watson. It's the same contract, the same agreement that we currently have. The only difference is we're adding an additional school resource officer at the junior high.
What grant are you talking about? This is the first I hear.
I use the term grant. There is the joint service agreement pays their salary.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
the language, the legal language. But they pay.
Oh, okay,
I would,
okay.
I was assuming by definition that is the type of grant
A reimbursement,
or reimbursement,
yeah.
whatever
reimbursement.
the clause is in the agreement.
To me, it's a no doubt, it's a good idea, it's a huge campus, I know the principal wants it, the family majority. To me, it's a no doubt, it's just a matter of the logistics as far as the paperwork. I'm game to vote on it, or get some guidance from him on what he wants.
What's the percentage difference?
Don't quote, I want to say it's like 83% of the
They-
salary and benefits.
During the school year while they were there.
Well, the.
No,
whole
for the
total
whole
salary is
year.
83%.
They pay 83%,
And the
yes.
benefits,
Mhm.
which includes their PTO and all that stuff. All their benefits, medical, all their benefits.
Chief, how long is this, how long have y'all been working on this document? I mean, it just come up last week? And the only reason I ask is it would be very helpful if we could have that plenty of time for him to review, just because we're not lawyers. And I don't mean that in any, just if you can get the documentation to us in
Well, he
enough
has it.
time. He's got it right now.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can just in the future, any of the documentation, just give us enough time so that we can get it to him to review.
Well, as the clerk can explain, that documentation was supposed to be sent Monday for y'all to review it. And I don't know what happened on their side. I mean,
Right,
I don't
right.
have control of what happened.
I understand.
And then I called Friday because Cindy said she had to take it off of the agenda because it was requested to be on the agenda Monday.
No, I
And-
just got it today.
And when I notified them,
Yeah.
and when I talked to Jason, the head guy at the school board, he
Sure.
said he'd make sure that we had that documentation.
Sure, no problem. I just, in the future, if we can just have them ahead of time so we can get them where we can.
And I did try, Mayor. I did try.
I move to approve the renewal of the CA between CPSB and Town Highway to provide a school research officer at J.I. Watson Elementary. And I also, do we need to put it together? It's one
So,
document, two
this-
line items.
The way this operates is, I think it is a renewal. There's 2 officers that will be at J.I. Watson. Am I getting that wrong?
One at J.I. Watson, one at
What it
Highway.
is, we already had one at J.I. Watson. We're adding one to the junior high school next to the high school. We have 3 schools.
Okay.
And we're gonna, hire an additional one starting for the junior high school.
So
The
from
sheriff's office has one at the high school.
what I can, if I can add, we didn't have the ladder contract. I didn't know anything about it. I had contacted somebody at the school board office because I saw that that document was expired and had been expired. And I asked them if we were going to continue, that we needed to have it renewed. They worked on it and they gave it to me. Then this document would put the other document obsolete, because this document includes
Okay.
that school.
I think I'm
Okay.
looking at the previous one. And
Right.
Okay,
Right,
I get it.
And
they did an
comparing.
addendum
Yeah, yeah.
to the previous one to update it to include the other officer. That's
Okay.
kind of what it is.
So the renewal one would be obsolete.
Yes.
Yeah, it would supersede.
It goes
and
away.
Validate the previous one. And I
Right,
guess
because it includes.
If the question, I'm running through this as quickly as can. If the question is, do I have a legal issue with it? Nothing is glaring at me right now. I am running through it very, very quickly. But it does seem to be. I mean, the only difference I can really tell so far is that it has a provision that says 2 post-certified law enforcement officers instead of 1.
That's the only difference I saw
Yeah,
within
That's
the
what it
documentation.
is. They added an additional officer.
So I move to approve the new CEA that renews Eric Johnson or 1 post officer at the elementary school and includes a new resource officer at the middle school campus.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank y'all, I appreciate that. Sorry about the confusion on that, but I'm glad it's good to go. I'm sure that people will be happy. Just wanted to say, we did do our annual shop with cops this Saturday. Took the needy kids shopping at Walmart, and they were very grateful. I just want people to know that our officers are continuing to support this community and help the needy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so if you don't mind, we're going to jump to, real quick, we're going to take care of this resolution number 2025-19. It is a resolution opposing carbon capture and sequestration in the town of Iowa, Louisiana. I will read it very quickly if I can. Whereas the town recognizes its duty to protect the health, safety, property, and welfare of the citizens of the town of Iowa and to preserve the town's natural resources, including clean air, safe drinking water, productive agricultural land, and a stable environment for current and future generations. And whereas the Chico Aquifer is a vital water source not only to the residents of the town of Iowa, but also to 15 parishes, nearly 1/3 of the population of the state of Louisiana. And whereas the Chico Aquifer is a single source of potable water for the residents of the town of Iowa with no alternative source available. And whereas the Chico Aquifer covers approximately 9,500 square miles of the southwestern part of the state of Louisiana and is tapped by over 2,300 pumping wells, making it the most pumped aquifer in Louisiana. And whereas carbon capture and sequestration projects, which involve the capture, transportation, and underground injection of carbon dioxide, have raised significant public concern within the town of Iowa and throughout the state of Louisiana regarding potential impacts on public safety, groundwater, soil stability, private property, and local ecosystems. And whereas incidents in other jurisdictions have demonstrated that CO2 pipelines, ruptures, and underground storage facilities can pose serious health and safety hazards, particularly in rural areas with limited emergency response capacity. And whereas the long-term monitoring, liability, environmental oversight of CCS projects are uncertain, and the potential risk and remaining financial burdens may ultimately be borne by local governments, landowners, and taxpayers. And therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of Iowa, Louisiana, hereby formally opposes the siting, permitting, construction, or operation of any carbon capture and sequestration project within the single source Chico Aquifer or associated CO2 pipeline infrastructure within the boundaries of the town of Iowa or within 2,500 feet of any business or residence, and 1 mile radius of any school located within the town corporate limits unless and until such technologies and independently verified by credible peer-reviewed scientific evidence to be safe, effective, and fully supported by the informed consent of the residents of the town of Iowa. And be it further resolved that the town of Iowa urges the governor of Louisiana, Department of Natural Resources, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, and all relevant state and federal agencies to give full and careful consideration to the concerns of local governments and citizens when evaluating CCS proposals. So that's what's in the resolution. Any questions? So we have this before us.
I move to approve resolution number 2025-19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that carries. Okay. At this time, we're going to do a proclamation for Russell Hardy. Miss LaDonna, you want to come forward and we'll. I'll read this and give it to you. Whereas the town of Iowa pauses with gratitude and deep respect to honor the life, legacy, and immeasurable contributions of Russell Thomas Hardy, a cherished citizen whose presence enriched our community in countless ways. And whereas was widely known and deeply loved by all who had the privilege of knowing him, embodying the true spirit of generosity, unwavering determination, and unity within our town. He loved his community deeply, and his pride showed in the way he supported his local schools, church, and every community event with enthusiasm and heart. Russell served faithfully as a devoted member of the Knights of Columbus, exemplifying the organization's principles of charity, unity, and fraternity, standing as quiet but powerful example of service to others. And whereas, excuse me, I correct you. Whereas with unmatched dedication, he was known as a #1 ticket seller, using his joyful personality and steadfast commitment to advance causes that made a meaningful difference for countless individuals and families. His unmistakable love for John Deere, from tractors to memorabilia, became a signature part of who he was, reflecting his pride and hard work, tradition, and the values of the land. And whereas in recognition of his extraordinary character and lasting impact, Russell was entrusted with at least 71 keys to different businesses within the town of Iowa. A symbol of honor, trust, and admiration held for him by the entire community. And whereas a legacy of Russell Thomas Hardy will forever remain woven in the history of the town of Iowa, living on through the countless hearts he touched, the traditions he upheld, and the example he set for generations to come. Let it be known that his contributions, spirit, and love for this community shall forever be remembered, respected, and cherished. Now, therefore, I, Douglas Neal Watkins, Mayor of the town of Iowa, Louisiana, hereby recognize and proclaim September 21st as Russell Hardy Day. In addition, to ensure his spirit of service and joy continues to inspire future generations, the town of Iowa will name the Buddy Ball Field in his honor as Russell Hardy Field. And hereby urge all citizens in the town of Iowa and all surrounding areas to join us each year as we celebrate and honor a true American hero.
You guys, I'm very grateful for having him in the case. That was his love, and he honored y'all, and he honored the Casey's, and he loved y'all to this community. There's no other community to Russell. I tried to take him away a few times, but he would not leave. And I'll never be able to thank Iway, the people of Iway, the community, the KCs, everybody for loving him and accepting him for being Russell. So thank y'all very much.
All right, at this time, we have a motion to recess to enter into executive session in regard to number 2022-5685, succession of Jerry Robert Laperouse versus Town of Highway, Louisiana. Have a motion? So moved. All in favor? Aye. And that carries.
There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, it works so good. You post outside. Thank you. I'm gonna be in Nashville. I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, Joe. Yeah. And it's something. Yeah, he told me. Because my son graduated from Sewell. Oh, so I'm gonna be able to make it easy, but I'm gonna bring my Thursday. Yes. Right. It's a once in a lifetime thing. It's a once in a lifetime thing. So, you know, and also, so you just want a new house, brand new house. Awesome. Yeah. Great career too. Yeah. I've been here for almost all these mayors. Well, go back to the 60s. This is my third mayor. So Bruce started with right here. Put his pool in the ground. Oh, is that? Yeah, just across my house. Yeah. Okay. That first house to the right. That's where it is. I saw a sign. I was like, shit. Really? That's a freshman. I was 280 in college. I've been 6th grade. But they took
Uh-huh.
And I took a picture of him.
Oh.
So,
My dad's not in that.
yeah. Oh, no, it's not. Man, I don't even know what the switch is to turn on. Shoot, no. But yeah, you one of your brother and your sister. Yeah, and your mom. All right. Last week. You need something?
Hey, there's
You know, it took so much out of me. I got to do everything out of me. I had to keep sipping on my water. Yes. Well, they had two of me up there at one point. And somewhere,
Really? Yeah. That would be great. Are they gonna do that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he did.
We look like
He did, yeah. And I'll pull you around.
She ain't no better than me. No, you should get one with you. And our new vision. Look at our new vision. Yes, I need to change policy now. We're done. We'll get you.
What did I do?
The photo with him.
It's a photo.
With him and,
It's a photo.
What I do? What I do?
yes.
SRO. That was.
Johnson is SRO.
All the way. Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I need to do. That's our own wish.
I think I worked hard. I think I worked hard. Right? Oh, man.
Well, you already know I'm not the great one. You know I'm not great.
No, she's not.
Now,
Y'all come on, I got you all up in there.
she said, oh, I'm coming. Good. You and Jimbo will be there with you.
I will be.
Yeah, that one good. That one good.
That was good.
That one is good food.
Yeah.
I need to get out. Stevie. See, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm bad with names. I'm glad I remember that much.
You do better than their neighbors,
Hey.
who's been knowing them forever and cannot get it for the.
They call you a nickname?
No, it's, I've heard Grandpa Stevens, but.
No, I said they call you your nickname? Your name? Oh, that name, I forgot.
Yeah, you don't know our name for nothing.
Oh, Lord. Ugh, I'm bad at names. Yeah, I be having it, but man, it's been a long day.
I know, one for,
I've been talking to plumbers all day, trying to get a hot water before, probably Thursday, Friday.
so you know how easy that is to install a water heater, but you have Lowe's and go put it in.
Yeah, but I know Mr. Jensen built that house for helping today. Like everything that happened, like that's the original since 1980. Yeah, so look.
You know, you have to replace the interval every 2 years.
Well, yeah, it ain't been replaced, cause I've been there since 17, but it's gonna be all fixed now, but I got a good old company coming in to fix all of that. And yeah. Like even when they was tearing the house down for a hurricane, they got some studs and
It's the best thing that happens.
And so my contract was like, I said, it came on and he just fell down. I was like, what? He like double breaks, all the structure and all that. I'm talking this house.
All righty. Do we have a motion to resume open meeting? So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are back in session here. So we have a motion to act on settlement agreement and general release of secession of Jerry Robert Laprousse versus Town of Highway, Louisiana.
I'll make that motion of 2022-5685.
Second.
And we're dealing with the release.
Oh, sorry.
That was a different,
Oh.
we did Jody said.
Oh, okay.
So just,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Make a motion to approve the general release of succession of Jerry Robert Laprousse, v. Town of Iowa, Louisiana.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries, okay? The next thing we have is a motion to approve agreement between Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and Town of Iowa for the purpose of animal services. Miss Cindy, can you kind of give a brief overview of what's happening with that?
Sure. It is time to renew our agreement for animal services, and they have changed it up a little bit. I asked them what the changes are. She explained to me that on the new renewable CEA, the parish, how they divvy up what they receive from other towns. They take your expenditure, operating expenses, minus the revenues, and then it's a percentage. But it does not include their capital expenditures, just their operating expenditures. In their revenues, they receive $1.5 million, I guess, every year. In the past, on our old agreement, that was included in the revenues. With this new CEA, they are withholding $500,000 that they're not including in the revenue that they're only going to include the $1 million in the revenue before they subtract the expenditures, operating expenditures. And she explained that that's mainly because they're going to use it for capital expenditures. This is going to increase our payments. I can't tell you by how much because I don't have their operating expenditures. She said that she would send it to us, and it's based on their budget. Last year, we paid Animal Services $25,455. She estimated that it could increase to maybe double that. But that was an estimate. She's not sure because she doesn't have the total figures of the budgeted operating expenditures minus the revenues. But
Every municipality that has.
it's going to be anyone that has a CEA with them is going to have this increase because it's going to be based on that same formula. And instead, and the difference is that 500,000 is not going to have the offset for our expenses.
So the bottom line is we're going to have a higher bill
Yes.
So it's another opportunity to push down on our budget, but we just need to get more revenues in to cover that. So,
But, I mean, are we really getting $25,000 worth of animal service calls? Now 50,000. I don't know. I mean, I know, Chief, you're not gonna have that in front of you, but how often do your people have to have animal services in and out?
I don't have that statistic data, but I can say, many times we have to go validate that the animal is at large, the dog or the cat's at large, to validate before they come. And there have been times that we've actually captured them and called them to come pick it up. Obviously, we don't have a facility, but
Sure.
we do, play a part in it.
But for 50 grand, you can get some lassos. Lasso cats.
We do that, we had an officer, and, years ago, and I said, if you want to pay and train that officer, and you want to put proper facilities so that we don't get in trouble with the Humane Society, and we can handle it ourselves, but I think that, the expenses to do all that, because we got, how that goes.
Sure, they can play the game. It's just a lot. I guess we don't really have much of a choice, but that's all I know.
Alright. So we have a motion before us?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
It's a year by year agreement?
Yes. It is a year by
Check.
year.
Someone
This-
raised their hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just a minute, before y'all vote, also, is there a way that CEA could be adjusted as far as, since they're requiring more money, that we can require more, services from them? Because I know for a fact, when I was on the road, it was, we had to verify, we had to see the animal. If it wasn't a bite, then it would not come out. However, this summer, I can say I did have one pit bull that attacked, 3 different people, and it was really bad. And they came out immediately. They actually stayed out all night looking for this dog, but outside of that, it takes an arm and a leg to get them out there. So maybe we could ask them for more services for the double of the cost.
Well, it's like y'all are doing all their work, and they come and saying, here you go.
I mean, I used to keep dog treats in my truck, in my unit.
I mean, so y'all are doing all their work, and then they just come and pick the animal up.
My experience with them has been quite a bit different. They'll come lickety split right away. I hate that hasn't been.
In a rural area,
Right.
not within a municipality, your experience with them is in the rural area or in the municipality?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Likely a rural area, yes.
Well, I know here recently,
You're right. You're right.
Here recently, I've dealt with them quite a bit. We've called for many dogs and animals, and they tend to come pretty quick on it. The drawback is if a dog is on a chain and nobody's feeding it, they have to have permission to get it off the chain. It's kind of sad to see the dog sitting there not eating and not having water, and yet, there's the issue. But there again, they have come and they've done some things. One of the things that we discussed with them is to come into town and do some public classes at the community center, because there are laws that people aren't aware are on the books for things such as feral cats. If you have a feral cat come to your house and you say, "Oh, poor thing," and I'm going to give it a bowl of water and some food, 24 hours later, if that cat's still at your house and you're feeding it, it's now yours. And you could be held responsible to have that cat neutered. So that's things people don't realize, that those are on the books right now in Calcasieu Parish. So maybe getting the information out will help keep some of that down as well. I don't know.
So the term of the agreement is for 1 year, which expires December 31st of 2026, but it will renew automatically for 1 for 1-year periods unless notice of termination is provided within 30 days.
Could we just make sure that we revisit it around October? Maybe your people can have some good stats on how often they're used, and maybe City Hall could keep an eye out on that as well. We're getting bang for our buck.
We should, actually,
I know
probably
the-
go to 6 or 7 calls from dispatch, and you know.
I know in the old days, we
Yes.
had that.
And my thought is there could be a little bit of leverage there because if they're adopting a apportionment model of repayment, if one person backs out, that means everybody else's share goes up. And then those people become more, a little more sticker shock. And that could snowball some changes. You know, food for thought.
I
It's a
move
good
to approve
idea.
the agreement between the Country Parish Police Union and Town of Highway for the purpose of animal services.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? And that motion carries. All right. All right, so the next item we have is discussion of violation of ordinance section 11-122 at the address of 105 South Bowers Avenue, Iowa, Louisiana. So as a matter of reference, October 13th, 2025, we did send out another letter. If you'll look back on the document behind that in the packet, you're going to see that the homeowner signed the document, the letter of intent on 10/11 of 24. So we're talking almost a year here in the difference. If you go to the backside of the documentation, you're going to see the pictures. You're going to see more documentation throughout there where there was some phone calls made, but you'll see that this double wide was moved in. The first one was damaged from the hurricane. They got a new home. They had come to us for a variance to allow the new home to be set up, get electricity on it, and then they would move the old one out. It is still in that position. And my understanding is her kids are living in it now.
I think she told me her son was living there with his children. If that's correct, I don't know. So,
We've had many issues throughout town with things like this happening. I don't know what y'all would like to do. I think probably the best thing that we could do is to issue a summons for her to appear in court. And at some point, we have in our ordinances, everything starts out, you can be fined up to $500 a day. I don't know if y'all want to kind of put something down and say, hey, for every day that she delays after the court, that she be assessed X number of dollars up to 500. I mean, that's really up to y'all's call. If y'all want to kind of put those stipulations on it. I know it's something that would go before the prosecutor and the court. And so what would y'all like to see done?
She knows she's gonna get fined every day.
Well, we need to address that through the summons.
So
If it's going to be that, we need to address it.
just to make sure I'm clear, that wouldn't be the judge making that determination of the fine per day?
Well, we could, as a council, you could say because she's in violation and she agreed that she would take care of this in a matter of time.
Right.
And she hasn't, she's reneged on her agreement with the council. If you want to fine her a dollar, you can do anything you want. You can say, hey, let's just get it to the summons, let it go to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor would most probably be the one that would say, hey, we're going to penalize you.
The process would essentially be, it's a civil matter. So if there is a violation that the town decides to move forward with, it's kind of town of Iowa versus so-and-so. And in that instance, I'm representing the town, and y'all set the parameters on what y'all want me to pursue. it's different than criminal where I have just prosecutorial discretion. You know, I can do whatever I want with the charge. With civil, it's the town being the client and setting the parameters of how far they want me to push it, whatever they want me to do.
Well, it's tough. If it's a situation where, and y'all know the situation I don't, where she bit off more than she can chew and realized once she got it in, she doesn't have the funds to move it. Well, that's one thing. That's a totally different thing. Oh yeah, I'll do whatever, and then now never mind, we'll use that at home. If what you guys are saying is true, that's belligerent, and that's a little. It at least deserves, I think, a conversation up here, to request some variance. I mean, when we put this stuff in place, I distinctly remember us talking about, we were talking about domestic violence situations, people getting out of a home. Not that we want people's business out there, but you can't just willy-nilly disregard what we're doing. So assuming it's belligerence and not, a bad situation, that's my first thought. And I'm just talking out loud. If it's $10,000 to demolish a home, what does that matter? $10,000. My first thought was $100 a day until we at least have some type of claim.
You said that she's attempted to get rid of it, did you do anything? No?
It was, I believe she received the mobile home through the state, Louisiana,
Second one or the first one?
the second
Second
one. And she came here asking for a waiver so that she could move this one on. And she said her other one was damaged and it was not livable. It was maybe damaged from the hurricane, I'm not sure. I don't recall. And she signed a paper saying that, and y'all had gave her the waiver, to be able to move this home on, get it situated, and then she could move the other one off. And I remember her coming and she signed the paperwork saying that she knew and that her intent was to move it off, but then she never did.
My 2 cents on stuff like this, and some of this, I wouldn't really call this legal advice, it's just like personal opinion. Willful disregard is different than, just ordinary neglect. Everybody's got a reason, right? We all got stuff going. I get that, and I think one of the things that has helped some of these things is at least forcing them to come up here and have to confront the possibility of consequence. And so I think if y'all wanted to give me a certain amount of authority, that's fine, or it could be a lot more general where it could be, to institute legal proceedings, to at least start that process and force the conversation to happen. Or if that doesn't get responded to, then, you're just talking to a wall and you're just going to go do whatever you got to do. So if someone isn't going to even respect the legal process, they're not going to really respect anything at all. Yeah, I know what I was looking at. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't know if you call it legal advice, but I think if there is a violation that's occurred and it's an issue, and I take a particular issue with someone representing something to a government body and then just ignoring it. That's kind of a particular wrinkle to this that I think is a little more unnerving. And so, look, this kind of stuff can be a step-by-step process. It can be, authorize me to start this process and get her in here and make, have the initial contact. And, we could see where that leads and make a different decision based on what the feedback we get from that. So I wouldn't view what y'all vote on today as some like all or nothing approach. So I think you can leave it a little bit vague, but also that would give you more information to say, okay, they showed up, they gave some reasons. Can we put a plan in place that solves the problem? And if we can, maybe we pursue that. If we can't, or they just don't respond anymore, they're just going to get stuck. They should just get stuck with the consequences at that point.
Right. I like that idea. That gives us a chance if they've just done a poor job communicating, but it gives us a chance to kind of even pretend that they had good faith, even if maybe they didn't. And if they need resources, we can help get them lined up with that. And like you said, if they don't, then that's on them.
Yeah, I just think there has to be accountability. It's no different than any one of us. And everybody has a different view on what is acceptable and unacceptable. For better or worse, the things that are kind of unassailable are the things that people pass laws on. They are what they are.
So would y'all like to see them come before the council next month?
Yeah, sooner than.
Well, I mean, that would be the soonest. I don't know if we followed up at that point and if they didn't show, would we move it directly to court? I mean,
Yeah,
it's only 3 days later.
From a legal perspective, there's no mechanism to truly, put some consequence on them not showing up to a city council meeting. There is a way for me to do it for a court date. But I think sending some notice saying, city council wants to hear why this hasn't been done, that's information. That's an act that we have taken trying to be accommodating, right? Trying to hear you out, and you can't even do that for us, right? And then if they're not going to show up for that, y'all just let me go do my job. That's how I view it.
Should we have a letter drafted that says that you will be required to appear in court if you don't appear before the council? And because those are 3 days apart, so.
I think what we do is we send a letter saying, we're inviting you to attend city council to discuss the ongoing violation. We encourage you to attend. And it can come from my office if y'all want it to, so it's a little more formal. If you fail to appear, then my client has authorized me to pursue any legal remedy available.
I like that. Yeah. All right. So that's everybody good with that? That was more of a discussion on that. All right. Next thing we have here is a motion to introduce ordinance 2026-1, an ordinance imposing a moratorium for a period of 90 days on the granting of any permits for mobile homes in the town of Highway. Before we get too far into that, just to make it a little bit of clarity on it, there is a stipulation within it that any, and we're going to rental owners of mobile homes, anybody that has had a violation, a letter of violation in the last 3 years does not qualify for the moratorium. I mean, they're going to be part of the moratorium and not able to conduct business during that time if they need to move a mobile home in. The reason for that is because we do have some violators on the rental side, but we have some people who actually do what they're supposed to do on the rental side. Okay. But mainly what we're trying to do is what I would like to do is to go through the ordinances. We've started on them already for mobile homes. There are a couple of little things in there I think we need to look at. And what this will do is give us, and hopefully by next Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have a draft of that ordinance so that all of you can look at it and kind of read through it. We'll put some notes as to what has changed so you can look at it. But I think maybe by doing this, it's gonna help us to get into a situation where we don't get ourselves into the situation we just talked about ahead of time with the two different things there. So maybe there's something we can initiate within that to kind of help us not get ourselves in a bind. We do want to help people when they need help. But we need to have people do what they're supposed to do as well. Any other questions on it? Anybody?
So this 90 days, that's an exception to the existing law that will allow a change in the current law that they can deviate from?
No, sir. What it does is it puts a freeze on it. So we probably have 2 or 3 different people who are considering moving mobile homes into town. If we do a moratorium, that's going to delay them another 90 days because we're not going to allow those permits to be sold because we want to get some of the issues within the ordinance needs to be reconciled to where we as the governing body can say, okay, you're asking for a variance, but here's where our issue lies. All right. And we're not taking some of those other points into consideration. So we want to kind of get that cleared before we give another permit.
So there will be absolutely no permits granted during this 90-day grace period?
Unless you have rental property and you're in good standing with the town. We don't want to hurt business people. So Miss Patsy, Miss Gina, they do everything the right way. We don't want to affect them if they have a mobile home that, sorry, Chief Lantier, I don't mean to bring up fire, but if something happened and they had to replace one of their mobile homes, okay? We don't want to affect their income by not being able to do what they need to do because that's a business for them. So we want to make sure we protect them. Meanwhile, we're trying to deal with the ordinances.
So, for example, what I'm hearing is we have to help enforce these. That's why I wanted a little clarity on that. So if you have an older trailer, you move it out, you can replace it.
If
But you can't
it's your
replace 2 trailers for one, is that what?
No, what we're asking for is just a moratorium on any new trailers coming in, unless you are your business is rentals of trailers.
So I got an example, like, the lot in between me and Jack.
That's a good example.
That guy pays, he moved the trailer out, the trailer that was in there. But he moved it out and he's looking for a trailer that he could get to put in there. But he's
One per lot according to the ordinance, or
Correct.
2 trailers?
Correct. But
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And you exceed what the current law says. That's what I'm trying to.
No, sir. He's saying if this moratorium passes, it's not gonna tear down the old one, what people can start. It's just gonna absolute complete freeze, 90 days, and then reassess.
I think the best way to think about it is complete freeze for 90 days unless you're within one of the business owners that this is contemplating. I guess good faith,
Right, I'm talking about the
compliance.
business owner, so if a business owner.
And they would be
He's a
subject.
business owner, and he says, I'm replacing this one trailer, with current standard says 1 lot per trailer.
Correct.
And he says, well, since I got a 90-day thing, I'm gonna put 2 trailers. That's
So-
what I'm asking.
Oh, no.
He would be subject to the current laws.
Clarity
And
on that.
he would,
And I'm only asking because.
Yeah.
it will be a fact.
and I think the moratorium helps because it eliminates if we are planning to amend our mobile home ordinances, it alleviates this like limbo pattern that we might be in where we're amending it, but there's kind of a 1-month wait period and like people are applying and then it's going into effect, which one applied, like let's just put it on hold while we can get it all figured out and everybody's on the same page when it gets lifted.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And normally all of that on the mobile home side, Chief, goes through building code inspection services. So if folks are wanting to bring in a home that's older than 5 years, he has to go out and inspect it where it's sitting. And he has to go and say, hey, yes, it can be moved, it's up to code, it does meet the specifications. But then that has to come before the council for a waiver. So those tend to be where we get ourselves in a bind when they come in, because they'll come and put them in, and then they don't put up the skirting, which is part of the ordinance. So it's just all those things. But that generally, I think we're finding with our building code inspection service, we do tend to take care of a lot of that stuff, but some of it still slips through the cracks, and I think it's just tightening up the ordinance is what we're trying to do.
We appreciate it. Do we have any, like, I know it's not drafted yet, but do we have any specifics on where the ordinance needs to be adjusted or changed? 'Cause I feel like our ordinance is pretty solid with the mobile homes in particular. Am I worried? Like, I told you this.
Yeah.
I don't agree with allowing the businesses. If we do a moratorium, then period, end of discussion, 90 days, because I don't want to help a business owner out more than I'm going to help, my grandma or somebody's grandma.
Just.
Well, that's
help.
grant, I mean, their business is grandfathered in. I mean, we could probably potentially be sued because that we're affecting their business, and we want to be careful with that.
Doing it another way creates exposure for problems because these people have active leases, right? Well, under an active lease, they have a duty to keep the property in good condition, suitable for a tenant to continue to occupy it, right? Well, if one of their units ends up, water main busts or something and the whole thing gets flooded out, well, that lease isn't dissolved. They still got to put this person with a roof over their head. It's to protect that because they have a duty to continue to
So that's
service.
not what it says. They would still have to come before us for a variance. So you're saying that we can vote no and then set ourselves up for a lawsuit? Why wouldn't it be automatic?
What variance are you talking about?
Well, did I misread it on the moratorium? The town council, they make an exception to the moratorium only for mobile homes used. So like in that situation where the business owner needs for what he's saying, provide a continuous lease, this is saying, make an exception, which we wouldn't be required to. So if we're doing it-
That's because if it comes to you and it's 6 years old, you're not required to give them a waiver or a variance. If you want to stick to the 5, which is within our ordinance, then that's your prerogative. But when it says may, I mean, we've had some come in that's 7 years old.
Sure.
So it's really, I think, all I'm really asking for is that if we can step back for the 90 days, I think that's what it's going to take for us to move the paperwork back and forth. And if there is some concerns that we can go that direction. But part of what I would like to see added into the mobile home deal is responsible landlords and what they can and can't do. And we have, and I'll give you an example, Miss Patsy has she pays her taxes as a trailer park. But we don't have anything in our thing that recognizes that as a trailer park. But if she's got 3 or 4 mobile homes right next to each other. This was grandfathered in, but if she needs to repair one of those or pull one out and put a new one in, if we pull one out and then we say, no, we can't give you that variance because you can only have 1 per lot, now we're affecting her income. You see what I'm saying? So I think there are a couple of things there that we need to adjust. We want to be fair to the folks that have been around and doing it right, but we also want to hold up as much as we can to where we can say, hey, let's try to get some of these tweaks done, but it's going to give us a better leverage.
But that same idea, my 2 houses down from me is a really nice little mobile home, good little family with their little kids. I understand the timeline of getting a mobile home, but let's say something funky happened to their really nice mobile home. With this, we couldn't say, hey, well, yeah, you'll be fine. If they have to move that thing out. If theirs was a total loss in a fire, we're telling them, hey, 90 days, sorry guys, it's not, can't move one in. I just don't agree with that. Now that's me.
Well, these are the circumstances, so that would be something that we would have to put in the ordinance, put it in.
And this right here, the moratorium, period. It's
I don't think that
code-free.
would be an extenuating circumstance, would it?
That's not what it's allowed.
So I understand it. We can't, I don't know that we're going to be able to cure all of the potential risks that may come up. And I get where you're coming from with it. And yes, it would be heart-wrenching to see somebody like your neighbor have that issue, and then we're in the middle of a moratorium. But there again, that chance may not happen. And so I guess what I'm saying is at some point, we need to do something. We want to shorten it to 45 days. We'll try to rush through it in 45 days. But I'd really like to see that 90-day to get us to where we need to be on some of those things that I think we have to adjust.
This would, to me, would be like anybody wanting to come into Highway for the first time, putting a trailer on a piece of property. That would be, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Now, his example would be one of those things that falls in no man's land, because you'd have only certain people who would have that ability to move one in, and then everybody else is under a moratorium. And I get that.
I'll say this, the circumstance is unlikely. That's not impossible. That's a good point. In a certain circumstance like that, this can be amended by an ordinance, So if the unlikely did happen, there is a fail-safe one. It's not.
Well, wouldn't we have to how long does it take to amend one? You can amend it immediately?
You could introduce it, and we could do a special session. I mean, there's a way to do it.
Yeah, it's all some aggressive use. But fair.
All right. Any other questions? I know it's not ideal, but it gives us a chance to kind of tighten it up. All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to introduce ordinance 2026-1.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And that motion carries. All right, number 9. A motion to introduce ordinance 2026-2, an ordinance fixing meeting place, days, and time for mayor and town council. Are we good with the same time and the same Monday of each month? Yeah. All good. Russ, you good? All good. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Number 10, a motion to approve maintenance agreement with and between the state of Louisiana through the Department of Transportation Development and the town of Highway for the purpose of mowing and litter pickup. And just as a kind of information for the folks in the council room, this is something that we've been approached a couple of times with over the past year and a half, 2 years. And the state pays 4 cycles, which is quarterly. The roads that we're talking about is Miller, Highway 90, Thompson, and the interchange. And they came back to us and is it 9 cycles?
9.
It's 9 cycles. 9 cycles makes better sense to me. I was of the notion that if it's only 4, we'll let everybody complain to the state because it's only mowed 4 times a year. 9 times, I think we can do that and not have an issue, but we can also keep up the trash a little bit better if we do the 9 cycles. They are paying us for those 9 cycles, and this is probably something that might go away in the next couple of years. So if we can get in on the front end, it'll probably continue from that point on. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the maintenance agreement with and between the state of Louisiana
Department of Transportation and Development for the town of Highland.
Second.
All in favor?
Um,
Any opposed? Nay. All right, and that carries. Okay. The next three that we have on our paperwork, 12, 13, and 14 are in conjunction. It deals with annexation. 12 is contingent on 13 and 14. So I think what I'll do is let's discuss 13 and 14. If you choose to move forward with that, then we can go to 12. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so what we have is a motion to accept petition by JATKY LLP, Harney Natale, for annexation in the town of Iway of a certain parcel of vacant land. And being how this is all being done at the same time, I'll cover the other as well. Motion to accept petition by Lee Mallett for annexation into the town of Iway of a certain parcel of vacant land. Miss Cindy, what's the total acreage? Do you recall?
No, I don't. I'd have to look it up.
I think we're pretty close to that. I think it's pretty close to 1,000 acres. There are two reasons that this is before us. One of them is, as some of you know, I sit on the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, Calcasieu Parish. Part of it is that the plans moving forward, it appears that Department of Defense interstate system may be laid out and come through close to the town of Highway. So what we're seeing right now, you see at Clo Exit where you see the big buildings being built, you see in the gas stations that are being built there, they're moving this way. And so part of it is to kind of protect our area so that if we're going to have any growth, we have the room to grow. And I did approach both these guys early on about the possibility. Unforeseen to me, I didn't know that Lee Mallett was buying the mansion. Y'all know where that's at on the north side. So he's bought that. And he's bought some property on the south side of the interstate on Miller, West Miller, going out toward Sugar Cane. And so the conversation I've had with both of them, we cannot provide you water, we cannot provide you sewer. We just don't have the money to do it. There are no homes there other than, of course, the big mansion. So we really wouldn't require anything as far as services there at all at this point. Now, one of the things that I have asked him to do, if this is annexed in, is to help Baton Rouge get us some funding for more services. And so he said that he would try to help with that if that happened. The other thing too is that the property that he's buying on the north side of the mansion there, well, I shouldn't say buy, he's already bought it. They've already started working on what their plan is for that property. They have quite a few plans. All of them include revenue coming to the town of Iowa, which is helpful because we all need more money. The more revenue we have, the less issues we have with animal services or any of those things that we have a deficit on. So that's where we're at with that. The other thing I asked him to do, if we were to annex this in, is to allow the town a servitude along East Miller from the town property all the way to the mall. And so we can tie in the sewer and the water and create a loop right there, which would finalize that moving back and forth along Miller. What that does is open up that property for sale because it has the services available on it. At that point, then revenue will come in from the businesses that are there, and that's only commercial buildings can be put there. Okay. Everything that is being done through this is for commercial. Mr. Natali, his property was at one point farmland. There is a wetlands question on it, so more than likely, we're not gonna see anything being built on that. All it is just to kind of protect a new boundary for the town of Iowa along the I-10 corridor. Y'all have any questions about any of those things? Come up with how many acres? Oh, you.
I don't know the normal process. You say that we don't have to give them water or sewer.
Uh-huh.
Is that standard practice? Like how can we have rights to that if they decide that they want it?
Well, and that was the conversation I had with him. If the one thing that we need to do is to lean on moving in the direction of economic development. How do we get there? The more property we have in town that opened up to commercial, the better off we have, but we have to have those services. But if he can help us through Baton Rouge, get us whatever grants are available to move that water, let him do the legwork, then that frees us up from having to spend our dollars to do that. So he understood. I mean, the conversation has been for probably a year and a half, that the town just doesn't have the money to put out to bring water and sewer to 3 miles down the road. We just don't have that. It's the same thing with Jeff Davis Parish when they talk to us about it. All it takes is money. If you want to move it 5 miles, it's going to run $5 million. And so the conversation has always been economic development, and nothing should be done. And again, there's some other conversations we're having that hopefully you'll see an agreement arise from this that has to do with what use of that land is on Miller, so that we can affirm that it's, last thing we need is homes or another subdivision built on that property that's going to cause us some issues, because we're not going to gain a lot of revenue from property tax. We're going to gain revenue from businesses. So that's really the big push, is trying to get more businesses in so that we have the revenue to do what we need to do. Chief and I both want the Emergency Operations Center. This is a good way to get it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that grant.
Yeah. Ms. Johnson?
So the trade-off for annexing that particular property is that they will provide, now it would provide their own water and sewer.
They have their own water and sewer there now.
So is that the property that you're considering being mentioned part, becoming part of Iowa?
Yes, ma'am. That's 280 acres there.
Okay.
But there is, so you're looking at another 700 acres that'll come in besides that.
Okay. Now, the Natali property,
Uh-huh.
where's that? I don't know where that is.
You know where Ladue Road is?
Ladue Road?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't.
Okay. So if you take the service road and you go past the mansion,
Okay.
you're gonna go until you can't go anymore and you have to go north.
Yeah, okay, I do know where that is.
Okay, so that's Ladue Road right there.
All right.
And so, Mr. Arney's property is just beyond Ladue Road. So there are some conversations about the 514, which is a military highway.
Yeah.
The reason for that to come through is that there's a big push for Fort Polk. Well, I'm glad they changed the name, huh? But anyway, that road would come through and go south. The port is moving south of Lake Charles, and so that gives them their by land, by air, by sea. So that way they'll have a, yes, ma'am.
So tonight is to consider that for discussion, or is it up for a vote?
Well, we would like to accept a petition. Now, that's not necessarily saying we're going to get, there's going to be some particulars that's going to come along with this down the road that'll have to come back before the council. This is basically saying, yes, we recognize the petitioners. Yes, we would like to attempt to do this. If there's some things that get sideways, we'll just say, hey, we can't move beyond this.
There's gonna be more than a conversation, it has to be something in writing.
Oh, yes, yes.
But this is not due final.
This is a motion to accept the petition. If we accept this petition for both of these folks, then we go back to item 12, is for us to do a motion to approve Domain Zavato and Associates to do the survey of the unpaved portion of north and south side of west frontage roads for the application to DOTD. Because that's what we have to do. We'll have to include that service road down to Ladue. We'll have to include that service road down near to Sugarcane for that, because we need to make sure that all of the land is in succession. So we can't skip a spot. So that's what we would have to do there.
I got a question.
Yes.
This is also, this master plan on this is to go from highway to Lake Charles is the issue with transporting the military goods, correct? That they're sending that through Texas a lot right now.
No,
I had a
they're
meeting and I'm.
Yeah. No, what the 514 is a designated highway for Department of Defense. So anytime you see a 514 in the US, that's a military. So what it does is it'll actually go north of Hecker and kind of curve back toward Ragley, and above Ragley is where they'll tie in.
But the weakness lies for our interstate infrastructure between the 40 from highway to Lake Charles. That's part of that corridor that they need to transport those goods. Is that not?
No, they're going to cross I-10. They're going to go over I-10 and go down south to the port. So there will be federal funding available for that 514, which is going to give us, hopefully what we're trying to do is with that 5-page plan we worked out, the goal is to have another exit in the town of Highway, okay? And so by Mr. Arney having that piece of property right there, there is some wetlands thing with it, but I believe in talking with DOTD, that's probably the good place for them to have a entrance to I-10 westbound on the north side. So if they work that out, then possibly we'll have an entrance on the south side, which brings people in by Sugarcane and eliminates some of the traffic that we have here. So we have it does deal with transportation as well as economic development.
Yeah, they have, my understanding was that they have a certain type of infrastructure.
Sure.
To transport the military goods.
Oh, yes.
And it's not adequate as Texas, and a lot of those goods are going to Texas.
Right.
From Florida to Texas.
Oh, yes,
versus
yes.
our side.
Yeah.
Is that inaccurate?
No, there's some thing. I mean, Texas was trying to get the 514 as well, but this is more likely the route it's going to go. So.
Oh, that's good for us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely good for us. So I would tell you, as far as these two items, I'm going to ask you to stop and think about the conversation I had early on with the 30 acres that we got. We didn't give away the bank. Matter of fact, we got better than we only spent $25,000 an acre for that when he was asking for 75. So he's been very helpful in the conversations I've had with him. We do have an understanding that if it's not good for the town of Highway, I'm not interested in it because I know the council's not interested in it. But these two guys are, the good thing about it is that they have the ability to purchase that much land or to do what needs to be done to help the town. And they're both right there trying to help. Okay. And I know we all have past, so let's leave them there though, you know. All right. Any questions?
Is Mount buildings in town that outside the city limits?
A portion of that is in town. I think he's got 170 some odd acres
Yeah, it's
to the
back,
east.
yeah, the back side.
And
is-
he's talked about annexing that in as well, because he wants to build an industrial I shouldn't say industrial. It's, you know, your service companies and whatnot to come in there.
Oh, it's not in city limits of, like where they sell the buildings themselves?
Yes, that portion is.
There's
portion
only
of
a
it is-
port, there's only a port of it that's
Yeah,
in city
A
limits.
portion of it is, but this
I think it's the
discussion-
back, maybe the backside. Or
One
something.
other question on
Yes.
that, when we're annexing, you also have Interstate 10. We had an issue on the other end that Cindy was investigating.
Right.
On the boundaries. So if we annex all the way to Ladue Road,
Uh-huh.
going west on I-10 on the
Correct.
east and westbound lanes, that's gonna also include the city, including I-10. Is that, or is it gonna, we're gonna have all this jurisdiction and I-10 is gonna stop in the middle? And we have no jurisdiction on I-10, that's the question I need to answer again.
Yeah, it
So they
depends.
can enforce the law properly.
Yeah, no, it depends. I don't know that we want to take the interstate that far. I mean, I don't know if you're out there and you're trying to stop somebody and they're doing 70, do you have enough room to catch them? I'm sorry, if they're doing 80, do you have enough room to catch them?
Well, the thing about it is.
Where you at now?
In that time, in that span from the 43 to the 38 is where we have a turnaround. That's the only turnaround we have. So a lot of times well, I'm gonna speak, and I know this is
Yeah.
not fire board, but however, we had an issue with fire truck getting hit.
Yeah.
Having to go around in that turnaround.
Right.
And then that's a whole nother thing. you know?
Sure.
So not only that, if we annex that, I would suggest that we also make some, get with the state, because they would have to do it as far as trying to make a turnaround, look at all that type of stuff. More crashes, take that into consideration.
Fires happen at
Correct.
the 40.
Yeah, yeah.
They do. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Right. So it is a lot, even though we're a 3-mile radius, that interstates bring more traffic on the interstate than just the town.
Yeah. And like I say, we don't have to include, again, that's a topic that we can have a discussion on when, you know, if y'all want to move forward with the annexation of the land and we get both to go out and do the surveying, you know, we're going to submit that application to DOTD. We can trim that back to wherever we need to or whatever. So, and Chief, if you have time, if you get with me and let me know what your thoughts are as to where we should or shouldn't.
Because I've met with some of those people, and we're trying in the process of giving them my crash data. We got those statistics as well before they can make decisions on infrastructure. and road.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Daniel, you had a question. Did we cut you off?
A little bit, that's okay. It's, I mean, Mallett Village pays sales tax to the town or the outside. And it's a loaded question, if we're being totally honest.
I don't think they're not in the city limits.
Like, we're talking about these good faith, all these things, you're like, when we get the sales tax, good tax hasn't been good for us. I'm terrified of the idea of some of the economic development. Do I think we should annex these properties? Absolutely, 100%. Like, zero hesitation on my mind, other than, you know, we're worried about little old ladies who have a trailer suing us, but if we tell these guys, no, you can't get water, nope, we're not gonna do that. Or the limited things that we've tried to do with commercial properties, which Mr. Bouquet was like, dude, this is not gonna hold up if we really get sued. We're gonna try to put, you know, restraints on those two. Like, we can't beat those two in court if it comes down to it. That's my concern completely. I don't feel real good about good faith, you know, efforts. I don't. The commercial aspect of what I think our town's been served hasn't been great.
Well, and
It's a
I
concern.
hear, yeah,
That's all.
and I hear you. I mean, it's not being dismissed. I hear it. the best thing that I can say is I'm very cautious when it comes to moving forward on any of these things, and that's the reason I try to lay them out and say, here, what are you gonna do for the town? Because if we can do that, then that's gonna protect us.
We don't vote on that. That's all unknown.
Oh,
There's
well,
no guarantee.
but here, well,
He's
but
gonna be
here's,
able to-
right. But here's the thing, when we bought the property, I brought it to you as to what he agreed to, which was the conversation we had in the past. So we brought that in, and that's how you knew that we had worked a good deal for the town. As it was very helpful to us, and yes, it was helpful to him, but it was more helpful to the town. And so any of these things that we do moving forward on this, and I'll give you an example. If we have a development that comes in, I'll give you an example. One of the things that I would like to do is to work out a deal to where there is a CEA drawn up between Mr. Lee and the town of Highway. And that CEA says that for X number of years, this and whatever number you want to put in there for acreage is town property. And by me giving this to the town, what we want to do is to allow the town to move forward with development for revenues. It's going to benefit our general fund. How do we get there? Well, we would have to do a public-private partnership with a third party, not with either one of these parties, but with a third party to do the development. The only way that development could get done is if it's pre-sold. And if it's pre-sold, then the town comes in and takes care of the roads, the water, and the sewer. That's part of our agreement to get that moving. Because that's the biggest holdup when it comes to, when you look at Jeff Davis Parish and you look at Lacassine, that's where their problem comes in. They have no water, no sewer. They don't have the infrastructure in place. If we can determine that and go in there and do that, now we have a little bit more control of how that development comes off, as opposed to just letting it free will. And that's not the intent here, is to let anybody free will. They understand that the town needs help. We understand that we need somebody's help to provide us the land so we can generate the revenue. So I would ask that you trust that the conversations that we continue to have and get down on paper is something that, I mean, we're going to present it to the council. It's not going to just be something that we're just going to go on with.
I would say this, if all we're voting on is just to accept the petition, right? We're not making any final decisions on whether or not they are ultimately annexed. That gives me enough time to find some ways that I can, put things a lot more firmly, and that we are not providing water unless X, Y, Z happens. And I think look, I'm not saying I've read a statute that says I can do this. My gut tells me there are safeguards that can be put in place if we were to ultimately say annex them.
We can do it all at once, or we're gonna do it one by one.
I would do it individually because of if you want to start with 14, 13, it doesn't matter, and then go to 12. Or you want to go to 12, 13, 14, it's up to you.
I move to accept petition by JATKY LLC, Iron Tally, for a motion to accept the petition by them for annexation to the town of Iowa.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move to accept petition by Lee Allen for annexation to the town of Iowa of a certain parcel of vacant land.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I move to approve the hiring of both Desiree engineer with
Domains Lovato and
Yeah,
Associates.
they're crazy. And associates for the purpose of surveying the unpaved portion of north and south side of West Frontage roads for the application to the DOTD for annexation into the town of Iowa.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. All right. Now, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? And we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
May I make a statement before we leave the room? I want to thank the town of Raleigh for the beautiful park. This decoration of mom. Whoever got involved and did all the work, thank you. I was proud to tell people, go by and look at my park.
Oh, I'll keep it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chicken noodle soup. Always. I want the whole chicken myself. Okay. Semi-homemade.